Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. Buffalo Beauts and former Brock University player Hunter Accursi joins the show. Welcome to the podcast, Hunter, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Now, how are you doing today, and what you've been up to lately?
I'm doing good. Just in Canada, we're crazy with the COVID still, as I'm sure you guys are. We just went back into a 4-week lockdown. So I'm lucky to have a home gym. I get to work out as much as I want still. I'm also a nursing student, so that keeps me pretty busy. And yeah.
Yeah, the COVID situation here in America is a bit, I think, different just because like different areas are treating it differently. I feel like Canada is a little more uniformed.
Yes, for sure. And I actually got my vaccine a couple weeks ago.
Oh, congratulations. How was that?
A little bit tender. My deltoid is a little sore, but steps for normal world, I hope.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, I hope to get mine soon, but I think that's everyone's hope. I don't know. It's been crazy that this has been going on for over a year now. Because I remember like here it was kind of like the 2-week like plan, like 2 weeks to stop the spread, and it's been over a year and a half.
Right. It's been the fastest, slowest year of my life, as I'm sure everybody else.
Definitely. Besides hockey and training, what have you been doing, I guess, like besides all that?
Yeah, so it's nice to be at home with my family. It's a little bit too much time spent with everybody, but yeah, and as I mentioned, I'm taking my nursing. I'm going to be an RN, so I've just been doing a lot of schoolwork for that. So yeah, that's about it, honestly.
Now, what's it like being a nursing student during a pandemic, and how do you deal with the stress of that?
It's definitely difficult and strange in ways where we'd be getting hands-on experience. I'm doing through a computer, or I'm working with simulators and labs. So it's a little bit different, but I've worked at long-term care homes and retirement homes for 4 years now. So I'm pretty well adjusted to the hands-on care portion. So.
Now, are you learning at Brock or are you learning at somewhere else?
So I am learning at Trent University currently. I did a 4-year undergrad at Brock in health sciences. So I had to make the jump to Trent because they have the accelerated nursing program.
Well, that's good to hear. And obviously, you currently play for the Buffalo Beauts. What's it been like to be a female professional athlete, especially during these kind of circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to continue playing, and especially professionally. And with the state of the world right now, to be able to have a season, even though it was very, very short. I'm just happy to be a part of the opportunity to grow the women's sport, and for myself and my sister as well, who's on the team too. It was just fun to be able to practice together. We never actually got to play a game, but hopefully upcoming seasons.
Yeah, I know. I guess like what was the preparation process for the Beauts this year?
It was pretty challenging, honestly, because we're professional athletes. We're held to our own high standard that we come into season in shape and things of that such nature. Having an already previous Buttes member in my house, I would say I had a little bit of an advantage because she pushed me a little bit harder through my workouts. We got to train with and against each other. But half of our team's Canadian, the other half was American. So for a little while, we were doing half the team was practicing in Canada, and the other half of the team was split practicing in the States. So it was a little bit strange that way.
Do you think your team had a little bit of a disadvantage because of that, because your team couldn't practice together as a full team?
I think in some sense, the Canadian players felt a little bit more comfortable playing with each other. And as I'm sure the girls in the States probably felt the same thing. But, again, being professional athletes, we have to come together and perform. So we had to leave that out the window, and we played with who we were placed with, and that's how it went.
Yeah, and you recently participated in the NWHL Lake Placid bubble. Talk about that experience and what was it like for you, even though it ended in an unexpected way?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I mean, hands down will be one of my top hockey moments ever. Memories too. I got to have my rookie season in a 2-week time frame up in Lake Placid. I mean, The Miracle on Ice is one of my favorite movies of all time. So to be able to play in that rink, look up and you see the banners of all those players' names. I mean, it's words can't even explain it.
Did you get to go in the hallway where Herb Brooks did the yes thing like at the end of the movie, or did
I
you even
did.
reenact that a little bit?
I did go, and I found myself around the rink as much as I was able to with the times we were allowed to be there. But my gosh, our team even watched Miracle on Ice on the
Mhm.
way up. It kind of got us all fired up. So
Definitely. I guess like what's it like being in a bubble and playing hockey, and like how do you deal with some of the restrictions because of it? Because talking to your teammate Nev Van Pelt, you guys couldn't like room together. You guys were kind of like pretty much like on your own for the most part, unless you were playing games.
yeah, I mean, it was a little bit strange to, we all had balconies. So we were to see your teammate on the balcony and not room with one of them was a little bit weird. You had downtime, but you were tired, like back-to-back games. For me, I hadn't played a game since February of the year prior. So it was quick turnarounds. I enjoyed having my own time again, being a student. I know a lot of the girls were working too. So it was a little bit weird because when you do get bored and a little bit lonely and you're like, hey guys, I know you're right down the hall from me, but
Mhm.
we had to follow the protocols so we could keep playing.
Definitely, definitely. What was your reaction when your season ended very quickly?
A little bit, I was disheartening, obviously. We just kept getting the luck of the draw. We were going into the semifinals. Games hadn't really been going our way. We had beaten Boston once and had two hard games against them following. So we had a lot of animosity. We were ready to go for that semifinals. So to have that taken out from under us was a little bit gut wrenching. But I mean, health and safety is super important to all the players and coaches and things like that. So there's nothing we really could do.
Did your team get the chance to play? Because I know some teams got to go to Boston and play in the semifinals. Did your team get the chance to do that?
So unfortunately, the league went back and looked at the standings, and our team was placed in the semifinals because Connecticut had dropped out from Lake Placid. The NWHL went back and looked at the standings and put Connecticut back in there, removing us. So unfortunately, no, we did not get the opportunity to play in Boston.
Oh, was that disappointing?
Definitely, but we'll bring that into next season for sure.
Definitely a good chip on your shoulder to have. And if I was the other NWHL teams, I'd be pretty scared to play the Buttes.
Yes, we're ready to get
Mhm.
going.
Now, I want to transition a little bit and talk about the beginning of your career. So you're from Ontario. What's it like growing up there, and how'd you start playing hockey?
Honestly, I started playing hockey as soon as I could walk. I came from a hockey family. My dad played all the way up. My sister, obviously Canada, we get the winters. So, pond hockey, things of that nature. So I fell in love with it because my sister and my dad played so instantly. I wanted to. We have pictures of when I was really little in skates and these little, like this little stick that my dad had cut down short for me. So I wanted to be just like them. And that's kind of how I got on the skates.
How'd your mom handle having two kids that played hockey and a husband that played hockey as well?
Let's just say that she's happy to have a break from the arena now because of COVID. Even so, my dad plays in like the men's league, and obviously, now me and Tay are on the same team, so that might make it a little bit easier for them to be in one place at the same time watching both of us. But we were definitely busy and kept them busy for sure.
Now, who was your favorite player growing up?
My favorite player was Genny Malkin and still continues to be. Um, he's a big player, versatile, sometimes on the D on the power play, things of that. So I have liked him since I was really young. I wore his number sometimes growing up too. So
Yeah, were you a Penguins fan growing up?
I was definitely, yeah, I got a little bit of hate in the family. My sister was a Capitals fan. So those were big rival games for us for sure.
That's awesome. Why did you want to become a Penguins fan?
I just remember watching them. Everybody's like Sidney Crosby. I'm like, you know what? Unreal player. Don't get me wrong. Not my favorite player. I'm Team Malkin for sure. But I just remember watching a few of the games, and I really liked the way he played. And I picked the Penguins, and then they started winning cups.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. And I guess like, oh, how'd your sister become a Capitals fan? And what was there any sibling rivalry because of that? Like, was there any like things going on like bickering?
Oh, definitely. Two sisters, we bickered, we fist fought, all that. You name it, we did it. But she liked Ovechkin,
Hmm.
goal scorer, big cellier. That is definitely her type of style of play. So she really liked him. We'd have the games on. Honestly, there's probably tears because we were so mean to each other if our team won versus the other. And it was a week long. Like it would go on. It wasn't just the game was done, it's done. It dragged. So
I know the Capitals won kind of recently. I guess like, what was your reaction to that news, and were you pretty disappointed in that, being a Pens fan, or were you like older, so it's like a little bit like doesn't bother you as much?
yeah, definitely getting older. It didn't hurt as much, and it wasn't them versus Pittsburgh in the finals. That might have been a little bit more sour if it was that way. But no, I was happy to see Ovi win a cup for
Oh, that
sure.
was awesome.
Yeah,
And it was cool seeing the celebration that they had too. That was like the best part of that run. Like every
oh,
day you just check on social media and they were doing something like insane.
right, big partiers, long time coming. So they wanted that.
If you ever win the Isabel Cup, like will you be like Ovechkin with some of the partying tactics or
Oh,
not?
absolutely. Between me and my sister, we definitely would have to do a beg.
Nice, nice. I'm looking forward to see that when that comes. And I guess like obviously being a Pens fan, you're a big Sidney Crosby fan, like you kind of were alluding to. What was your reaction when he scored that gold medal goal for Team Canada in the Olympics, especially being Canadian? I know for
Yeah.
myself, it made little Matt cry because it was pretty disappointing seeing Team USA lose. But I'm assuming for yourself, it was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it was definitely a good moment. And I honestly didn't even think it went in. I was like, no way. Like, and you know what? Usually in those type of games, it's honestly the crappiest goal that wins the game. And honestly, that's what it was. And I didn't care if it was Sidney Crosby or another like Canadian guy. Just to be able to win it was awesome because we, again, US versus Canada, big rivalries there as well.
Definitely, definitely. Now you were talking about this a little bit earlier, but your sister also plays hockey with the Beauts, and she also played college hockey with Mercyhurst. Talk
Mhm.
about growing up with a sibling that also plays hockey, and what's that like, especially since you both are really successful at playing hockey.
Yeah, so I mean, it was competition after competition after competition. She's 3.5 years older than me. She's taller than me for sure. So she picked on me a lot. We never played together on the same team because of the age gap. So the year she'd move up, I'd move into that category. But yeah, we were just constantly going against each other. Mini sticks, posts outside, pond hockey. Never ever wanted to play on the same team. Always against each other. So it definitely pushed us. I think we were our
Definitely.
own biggest competitors for sure.
Now, being the younger sibling, did you get picked on a lot? Because I'm the younger sibling, so I understand that. Or did you learn how to like go against it sometimes?
Yeah, I definitely would get picked on in my younger years. But it I hit an age and the quick turnaround, and I think she realized that, oh no, I can't take her as easily as I used to, and that's kind of where it stopped a little bit. I was able to handle my own.
Yeah, I think like once you get older, you start to like, I don't know, become more friendly with your siblings. Are you guys like still pretty close today?
Yeah, we have a good relationship. I mean, went from bickering and things as little kids to stealing each other's clothes to now we have a really good relationship. We get along good.
That's good to hear. And before Brock University, you played for the Burlington Barracudas. How'd you get the opportunity to play with that organization?
Yeah, so I grew up playing for my hometown in Ancaster all the way up. Unfortunately, my age group, we didn't have the highest level. So I had to make a decision if I wanted to pursue hockey that I had to go to Burlington and play at a higher level. So I did that. I played midget 1 year at the AA level. And then I was a sub for half the season, a call up for the junior team, and played half a season with them in my midget year. And then from there, obviously, I played junior in Burlington. So I kind of just followed the line.
Yeah, and how did Burlington help prepare you for college hockey?
I we had a lot of fun. Honestly, I really don't know if it did. I didn't take myself super seriously. It was just something I did for fun. It wasn't until I got there and realized, oh my goodness, I need to put in the effort here, that I really decided to bring it.
Hmm. Yeah, not having that like serious mindset, does that help you in a way just because you're not really thinking about like getting recruited and stuff? And so I know for some people not having that mindset helps them in a way just because they're more comfortable on the ice.
Yeah, so I obviously I knew about it. My sister went through the whole process, so I watched that. But I just played the game because I like to play it. I didn't play it for somebody else. I didn't play it for the scouts that were watching or anything like that. I just went out there and had fun and did what I could do. So I definitely think it helps for sure.
Now, what was your favorite memory you've ever had with Burlington?
We actually flew to Washington for a tournament and we won it. When my sister played for Burlington and they flew to Washington, they also won it. So we beat we were the underdogs in the championship game. We won. We got to see the Capitals, OV, things like that. So that was just an all around awesome tournament.
Yeah, what was the coolest thing you got to do in Washington besides seeing the Capitals?
Honestly, for me, there was the practice, like the rink we played on was in the mall. So for me to go from practice or the game to go shopping after was fabulous for me.
Did you get the chance to see some of like the museums and monuments and stuff? Because I think that's like the coolest part about DC is just the history that it has there.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Like I didn't get to go see like the White House or anything
Mhm.
like that. I did go on a subway, the underground. I thought that was pretty cool, but
Mhm.
we didn't get to go see the monuments or anything like that.
Now, talk a little bit about your recruitment process and why did you choose to go to Brock?
Yeah, so actually, I chose Brock strictly because of school. I wasn't even planning to play hockey there. For me, after grade 12, I was strictly academics focused. Hockey wasn't even in my mind. We had known one of the recruiters, and I went out for some of the open skates that they had for girls that weren't committed there. So I was convinced to go out. Again, not really thinking anything of it. And I was placed on the team from there. And that's how I got into that.
Now, what made you want to play college hockey in Canada versus the US?
Yeah, so like I said, I was just strictly school based. I honestly wasn't even in my head to go play hockey in the States. I watched my sister do it. Yeah, it was definitely cool, but she took a health degree as well that was hard to translate back in Canada. So through that process, I didn't want to have to deal with any of that. Obviously, I'm trying to work in healthcare, and the healthcare systems are a little bit different. So,
Hmm. Yeah, and what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to your game in college hockey?
um, definitely my mental toughness. I would say that over anything. It wasn't about skill, nothing like that. Just you had to become mentally tough.
Now, your freshman year, your team went 12-14. What was the biggest thing you learned as being a player in that team your freshman year?
It's a little bit frustrating for sure. We had to overcome a lot, especially being a rookie your first year. You don't have tons to say, so you kind of just put your work boots on. You do what is asked of you at that time, and you move on from it.
Now, talk about your conference that you played in with Brock, and talk about the competition that you faced every day, because there were some universities that I recognized even as an American.
Yeah, definitely. We had some like Guelph University was one of our rivals, and they seemed to win it a lot. They had some good talent, and we played Western, who always gave us battles. We had teams up north like that were 6-hour, 7-hour drives for us to get to that played in our conference. So it was just honestly, it felt like we were all over the place. And obviously, the top ranked teams like Guelph and Western were challenging, but with female hockey, the first place team could play the bottom team, and it's anybody's game. So,
Yeah, you also got to play at a university that right, Concordia. I don't know if I pronounced that right,
yep.
but what was it like playing them? Because I recognized that some of their coaches were Olympians, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's always nice to play teams that you're not used to playing, that you don't see every year, especially as you get older in the years. It's nice to have fresh competition, a different style of play, like to see a different style of play. They were a fast-paced team, and I think to get games like that in before a season is definitely good for us because you go against a team that's not as fast, and you feel like you're controlling the game. So
Yeah, definitely. In a lot of your games, you also played some American schools. What was the difference in play between playing at a college in America versus your conference in Canada?
I definitely think the physicality for sure. We played Union and RPI, and I actually scored against Union, so that was nice to be able to get into like against a D1 team and put the puck in the net and be like, you know what, like, yeah, I play CIS, but I could have been here too, type of thing. So that was really nice, especially in my last year to have that confidence going into the season.
Now, in your sophomore year, you lost to Guelph in the playoffs. What did you take away from that playoff experience, and how did that help? How did that playoff experience help you yourself for your upperclassmen years?
Yeah, so honestly, we didn't even make the playoffs my freshman season. To go against the top team, it's not going to be easy, but you know that you can compete with them, which makes it a little bit frustrating. So you bring that into the next season. So yeah, that's all you can do is work on it, learn from it, and continue on.
Now, not making the playoffs your freshman year, I guess what'd you learn from that experience? Because I think as a freshman, that can be pretty tough, not having early success because it kind of ruins your confidence a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating, but again, in my freshman year, I wasn't given a whole heck of a lot of opportunity. So you have to just, take what you did do and maybe what you weren't given the opportunity to do, and work on it, come into the next season stronger, faster, and blame yourself for it. You just leave it in the past.
Now, in your upperclassmen years, what type of leadership did you want to bring, and were you more of a vocal or lead by example type of player?
I was definitely a vocal. Not even on off the ice. I always brought the friendly spirit. Everybody takes it so seriously, and yeah, there's serious moments, but at the end of the game, like, you're playing like hockey in school. It's fun. You want to bring the fun atmosphere. So I definitely thought that I was a player that was able to stand up to things that I didn't agree with, and just be there for my teammates.
Now, how did you balance both the academic and hockey part of being a student athlete at university?
Yeah, so my first year was a big wake up call. I didn't do so well in school. I took a shorter course load. I really had to adjust to the everyday practices, in the gym, plus school, living away from home. It was all a lot at once. But I luckily had good teammates that helped me in the older years, and as I kept going, I took full course loads, and in my third and fourth year, I took 6 classes. So I went above the course load and played varsity hockey, and I worked as well. So, once you get used to it and you develop a schedule.
Now, in your junior year, you lost to Guelph again in the playoffs. What was the main difference between the series you had with Guelph your sophomore year versus your junior year?
I just we seem to get ourselves in a tough situation. We'll go one game and we'll win, and then we'll get absolutely smoked. And it's like, how did we compete with them this game? And then the second game, we just didn't bring it. So consistency, and that just goes with, sometimes we got out coached. And there's nothing your players can do. Everybody's giving all they can. You got some players that are playing the whole game that are tired, that are keep getting sent out there, and you got players that could be sent out there too, but they're not. So I honestly would think that it's just sometimes we didn't get the opportunities, and sometimes in moments we'd get out coached. So
Now, you played your final college hockey game against Ryerson. What do you remember from that game, and what emotions were you feeling after that loss?
I actually didn't play in that series. My team did, but my last game was against Waterloo. I was injured in that game, which put me out the rest of the season. So that was definitely heartbreaking for me, to not even be able to play the playoff series, especially my senior year. But injuries are injuries, and you need to take care of yourself and your body. So
Now, how did you deal with that injury, especially being a senior, knowing that your career is over? And how did you take that news, I guess?
yeah, I definitely had to just take it. There's too many players that go back or try to go back too soon. And I realized that hockey is not the rest of my life, and work and the schooling that I'm doing is the rest of my life. So I know that I had a good run, and um, I just wasn't going to dwell on it.
Now, looking back in your college hockey experience, what did you take away from it, and what was the biggest thing you learned?
Definitely to stand up for what I believe in. Mental toughness, is beyond. Like, I will not let anybody get me down. I'm not afraid to speak my opinion, obviously in a respectful manner, things of that. So I definitely have like leadership qualities in that nature for sure.
Now, we're now in the segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions. My first question to you is, what music do you like to listen to, and what fires you up before a game?
Okay, so I like country music, but not before a game or anything like that. I like some good rap, some good rock, like AC/DC, like Thunderstruck. You put that on before a game, like you're just out there and your skate laps ready to go. So
Mhm.
kind of all over the place on that one.
Nice. I guess, like, who's your go-to artist? Is it just AC/DC, or is there any hip-hop artists you like to listen to, I guess, before warm-ups?
Um, sometimes, I like Drake,
Hmm.
uh, Cardi B.
Hmm.
Whoever really has a good beat. Sometimes, we have some techno, some remixes. So, some Buck Cherry.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, what is something you wish more people knew about yourself besides being a good hockey player?
That's a good question. Wow, that's a tough one. Usually people only know you for what you're doing, but maybe the fact that I've worked in retirement and long-term care. I love the older population. I did volunteer work. I currently work, and yeah, I just love the like older adults in the geriatric sections, things of that nature. So yeah.
What's it like working with, I guess, older adults? Because I think for some people it can be kind of stressful.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a story to tell, and you just have to be willing to listen. And they were young people before you were even people, so I think it's a great way for you to learn and experience new things, and they have so much knowledge and things that they're willing to share. So I think it's a great opportunity to take the time to talk with them for
Definitely, definitely. Now, what is your biggest pet peeve?
sure. I hate being woken up in the middle of the night. So when I had roommates and things like that, even if we were away sharing rooms and someone would get up to go to the bathroom and that would wake me up, biggest pet peeve. I don't like to be woken up.
I agree with you on that. I guess mine would probably be like bad drivers. It can be a bit annoying when you have to get somewhere and someone's driving like 10 miles per hour
Yep.
on the
That's the way
highway.
it works.
Hmm.
Yep.
It really bothers me when that stuff happens. And I guess another thing would be like when people don't cover their mouths when they sneeze. That
Especially
bothers me.
now.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely now. Yeah, no. And I haven't really been out in public too much, so I haven't really seen too much of that. But before Corona, it really bothered me a lot. So now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Lunch with anybody in the world. Hmm. That is a good question. Wow. Maybe I would have lunch with like Evgeny Malkin,
Mhm.
obviously. That would be a fun one. Or maybe I'm just trying to think of like another good, like maybe my favorite reality star. So maybe one of the, like maybe Kylie Jenner.
Mhm. What would you talk to with Kylie Jenner? Because I feel like she lives a much different life than most people.
Yeah, so obviously I'd want to see like her home gym. I would be totally jealous of that. Maybe a shoe collection. Like, I love to shop, so I'd want to see what her closet looks like, and just her lifestyle versus mine. Like,
Mhm. Just try to live it a little bit, I guess, for that
yeah,
one day.
yep, for sure.
Definitely, definitely. So who was the funniest on the team when you were with Brock? I'm curious about that.
um, in my through my career, I definitely would find myself to be a jokester, I would say, but Morgan Giselle definitely was never afraid to bring the party with her wherever we went. So I would say her.
Now, who had the best style on the team?
Definitely me.
Mhm.
I never repeated a single outfit to games. So I always had a different outfit on. Look good, feel good, play good was my motto. So I definitely brought it.
I agree with you on that. I love your style. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Who's your like your icon, I guess? Like who do you try to model your style after?
It totally depends, I see a lot of like posts on social media and I'm like, I love that outfit. So how can I recreate this, And then obviously following like superstars like the Kardashians, the Jenners, things like that. I put my own twist on it because I'm not spending 5 grand on a shirt.
Mhm.
So I do what I can. So yeah, definitely social media and Pinterest, things like that have great outfit tips.
Now, what could I do to improve my style? Because I think it's a pretty basic. I don't know if like you know anything about like men's style, but like, is there anything I could do to improve on mine?
Well, it depends what you want to go for. So, suit and ties are definitely formal. You want to have your matching jacket to your pants. You want to match your belt to your shoes. Make sure that your tie matches the outfit, things like that. Jeans, nice pair of Converse, white t-shirt, and a button up that you leave undone is always key. Maybe a nice jean jacket,
Mhm. That's awesome.
definitely. Yeah.
Whenever you see that, are you like, that's good style?
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Now, besides last non-hockey question to you is who was the best trash talker on the team?
Oh, on Brock, I would have to go with um Julia Patella. You
Nice.
know, she always had the fast comebacks and she was good at that for sure.
What was the best chirp that you've ever received?
I actually get called Barbie.
Mhm.
People cheer me, asking me if I'm going to a photo shoot, things of that. So I think those are definitely the best chirps that I've ever received. Nobody comments on my game or things like that. So I'll take that. And if you want to comment on if I look like I'm going to a photo shoot, I will take that too.
Yeah, that's not even. I feel like that's not a good chirp because it's just a
Right?
compliment, in my opinion.
Right. I
Hmm.
thought the same thing.
Definitely, definitely. That's just the mindset you have to have.
Yeah. I was
Hmm.
like, yeah, can we hurry this up? Yeah, you're right. I do have a photo shoot to get to. So let's go.
And I'm scoring a lot of goals, and we're winning. So that's just like that just adds on top of it.
Yeah.
Now back to some hockey questions. Like what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion, especially since you played professionally?
Definitely advertisement. A lot of only my close friends and family that know where I play know about the women's sport at that level. I do help out around like my area, go on with youth, like young girls and stuff like that. And I get a lot of parents saying to me, I didn't even know that this was a thing. So definitely seeing it on the TV or advertisements, they have the Olympic girls out there, but not everybody makes the Olympics. So this is also another possibility and opportunity for women to continue to play. So
Definitely. Is there anything like business wise that could be done to help grow the sport, I guess?
just putting it out there. I do try to do a lot of social media work. I put the word out there to a lot of brands. I'd be a brand ambassador on my like to do my part to raise awareness and things like that. But like again, a lot of people don't really know about it, so it's definitely difficult.
Definitely. And I guess like what advice would you give a younger player who's trying to pursue a college hockey scholarship?
Just work hard, do work hard in silence, do what you can do and don't beat yourself up if the opportunity doesn't come to you. There's a lot of underrated players that don't get the opportunity and still make their way into the professional. So don't give up, work hard, and
Was
yeah.
there any shout outs you like to give to any of your family members, teammates, or friends?
I will give a shout out to my mom and dad for the reasons. They're the reasons why I was able to get where I am today, both school, hockey, things of that. My sister, who's upstairs, hi Tay. To my close Brock teammates, you guys know who you are. You really helped with our 4 years, making that a fun environment. And obviously, a big shout out to my beauties because
Mhm.
professional women hockey players, it doesn't get much better than that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Hunter. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me.
Yeah,
You're
of
a great
course.
hockey player, but you're also an even better person off the ice, and I just want to let you know that. And
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
am a fan of watching your game, so it just means a lot that you came on today. So thank you so
Yes.
much. Stay safe, and I wish you all the best.
Yes, thanks for having me, and you too. Stay safe.
Now, one question I'd like to ask you before